Hello. It looks, oh, there. Okay. I had the light in the wrong spot. Sorry. Hello. Kiana Sage here from Being in Sync. Today's topic, I'm cold today. Today's topic is how to speak from your heart in any situation. So, oftentimes people think they're in their hearts. And that's really when you know you're not in your heart, is when you're thinking you're in your heart. So, what I thought I would do today is give you like some guidelines on how to know when you're in your knowing, then you're in your heart. When you're in your thinking, always in your head. So even though people say, "Well, I think I'm in my heart." No, that's a that's a no. When you are in your heart, you will always know you're in your heart. So these tips will work for any situation, but by and large, the most important thing for you to be aware of when you are speaking fully from your heart is that life becomes much easier. Much easier. It doesn't mean everybody likes what you have to say. It's not about people liking what you have to say. It's about speaking from the heart space. And I have talked about how important it is in so many videos, but I didn't do a video on how to know that you're in your heart space. So I thought that would be an amazing video for you all to have. It's really simple, but it is a practice. So the first thing you want to do is have your attention on your heart. So you would just simply like bring your attention to your heart space, whether you put your hand on your heart, but then you want to have an intention to speak from your heart, which is very different. If you don't know how to set intentions, I put together a intention setting for synchronicity class that's free on this YouTube channel. You could go get that and start to practice intention setting. Intention setting is single-handedly one of the most important practices for increasing integrity, inner strength, having spiritual alignment, and feeling greater ease and joy in life. Like intention setting is key. And if you don't know how to set intentions and you start thinking your way through life, things become quite stressful. So when you're in your heart space, doesn't mean you won't have challenges. It just means that the challenges are easily overcome by being in your heart space, because there's a frequency that's emitted from your heart space that changes the directions of alignments. So what you're aligning to, what you're creating in your life has a frequency. Those frequencies change when you're connected to your heart space. Okay, so I even wrote down something that you could write down. Simply state to yourself out loud, or you could say it to yourself. So you can write this intention down and just say it to get it practiced. My intention is to speak from my heart and allow my heart to lead this conversation and or situation. That is the statement. So I'll say it again. My intention is to speak from my heart and allow my heart to lead this conversation and or situation. Who doesn't want to have heartfelt conversations everywhere in their life? That's where meaning comes from. That's where love is expanded from. This is where life force lives. Okay. It makes everything so much easier. Now, then you want to speak freely without doubt from that space. So once you set the intention, you need to trust that the intention has been set. Now, there are programs, conditions, frequencies, and patterns that have been set by you and in consent. And also, many of you have had your consent usurped by energies without your conscious awareness. That changes how you speak from the heart. That's why speaking from the heart is not that easy for so many people, is because they're not aware that these other things that you can't see, but you can absolutely feel are going on in the background. That's what I address in the peace program. When I go through the peace program with my clients, I'm addressing all those unseen aspects that you can't see but you fully feel when they're gone. When you have them, you're used to them. You're used to the program and conditioning, like, oh, there I go again. I'm in my head. That's programmed and conditioned into us. So when those are cleared, energetically, and I mean energetically clearing those, they're almost like cords. If you think of a cord, like my headset is plugged into my phone, you have these programs and conditions plugged into your energy field, into your heart, all those things. That's why it's so hard for people to go from thinking to knowing to feeling. So it's not your fault, but you must be aware that there are things that have been put in place to block you from your heart. Because when you're in your heart, you're much more powerful and you do not pay attention to the distractions that are around you. And the thoughts that you have are distractions. To be quite honest with you, your thoughts about whether you think things will go good or bad or happy or sad, your thoughts about emotions are distractions from you being in your heart space. So when you set the intention to speak freely, then you just go ahead and you have the conversation that you need to have or that you've been wanting to have, or the conversations that you want to have that are more meaningful. This would be an intention that you would say. The goal, obviously, in my life is to be in the heart 100% of the time. Now, obviously, life happens. We all go into our head sometimes. But the moment you recognize that you've gone into your head, you just redirect your attention. Ultimately, the best scenario is that your heart is leading your life, your conversations, your relationships, your situations, and not your thoughts, not your thinking, not your judgments. All of those become secondary. The heart becomes primary. So once you've had that, I would suggest that you have like a self reflection moment where you ask yourself this one question. So let's just say you have a conversation with somebody and you wanted to be sure that maybe it's an employee, maybe it's your boss, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a partner or a lover or a parent or a sister or brother, whoever it is. After the conversation has been said, and you're sitting by yourself and you're reflecting in your head, right? Did that go well? How do I think? What is that? Ask yourself this question. Did I fully accept myself and the other person fully and completely? 100%. Ask yourself that one question. And that answer will inform you as to your next steps of growth, because the goal is to be in 100% acceptance of yourself and of the other person. That's how you know you had a heart filled conversation, that there was pure acceptance on both ends from yourself and from them. There was no judgment. There was no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. It was just pure acceptance. That's how you know you had a heart conversation for yourself. You know that because there was pure acceptance. You know that because when you're in your heart space, you're calm, you feel complete, you've said what needed to be said. There's no going back and forth. It just is what it is. There's pure acceptance. Knowing is always going to be in connection with the heart space. Thinking is always going to be associated with the mind, doing what the mind does, which is think thoughts, right? When we are in connection to our heart, our thoughts start to change their pace. They don't go away, but the quality of the thoughts changes distinctively. So if you weren't 100% accepting, that's fine. Now you know where you need to improve. Now you know that you need practice in doing heartfelt conversations. And it is a practice. The ultimate goal, for my perspective, is that you will always be having conversations from your heart space. I don't have one session, one client conversation where I'm not in 100% connection with my heart the entire time. So, whether I'm doing a 1 hour session, a 30-minute session, or 4 hour session, or a full day session, I'm in my heart space the entire time. Why? Because that's where everything happens from that is good. That is where all the insights, wisdom, everything comes from that. Otherwise, your mind is interfering with what can and cannot happen. It will judge interactions. It will change the direction. So when you're in your heart space, just know you're in your heart. I was in my heart 100%. That's in the heart. Where you accepting, that will be a judgment of the mind. And you will have to do that personal assessment. Everybody will experience their own personal assessments differently. Just know that the mind might say you are 100% in your heart, but how do you really know? Only by feeling. So you will know when you feel calm, clear, and collected that you are 100% in your heart. If you have doubts and questions, or you're hemming and hawing, that's how you know that your mind is somehow engaged. That's not a problem. That's just an awareness to have. So I hope you found this helpful. Cheers to being in sync. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. Have a great Friday. Bye.